It's very recruiting here. State your name and occupation.
So I'm William, and I'm a top 32 with Runick stun.
Awesome, that's good.
Yeah. So first off, the Runicks. So we play one Smiting Storm. It's usually your win con, not much to say. It ends up being your win con at least. 3 Freezing Curses, 3 Flashing Fire, 3 Tip, 3 Slumber, 3 Destruction, and 3 Fountain. Pretty standard stuff, not much to say here. I didn't want to run Dispelling and Golden Droplet because they're trash. And I wanted to run more Floodgates instead of running the Runicks. Yep. Next to Floodgates, 3 Die-Fi. I immediately sold like 2 of them right after, so there's only 1 here. 3 Messenger of Peace. Yeah, it's Mystic Mine at home, I guess. It's pretty trash. I got beat down by like Sprite like so much times.
So when you get Mystic Mine on Wish.com?
Pretty much, yeah. 3 Soul Drain for Tears. You know what it is. 3 Majesty's Fiend. This card is actually broken. Yeah, 2 cards to make Mystic Mine, and you immediately lose like Imperm pretty much in like a 1 column. This deck is really bad. Don't play it. Like, I built this deck just for the T matchup, and I played T like 3 times, and in my top 32 match, I ended up losing to T anyways, because he sided a ton of back row removal. So if they side back row removal, this deck is kind of not playable, I feel. At least Cosmics and stuff. But yeah, not much to say here. Soul Drain is not a good card. Like, it stops your Runics from activating in the grave as well. So it's actually trash, I feel, but it's necessary against Tears. I just chose these because I thought they'd be the best Floodgates against Tears. Yeah, Messenger's Messenger. Yeah. Next up, One Of's Cold Buy. This card is nuts. It hits Ash. Well, I guess if I drew it, it would hit Ash. It kind of didn't do shit. I didn't see it at all, TBH. But could be good. Upstart. This was supposed to be One Day of Peace, but Andy fucking forgot it. So yeah, man. But this ended up being really good as well. I feel like I never had the need for the protection from One Day of Peace, so just not plussing them felt really good.
Just sided out in time.
This deck unexpectedly doesn't really go into time a lot. Like, the turns get really short when you just have a bunch of flood games on. But yeah, 1 card of Demise. This card is busted as hell. Yeah, not much to say here. Sometimes you just draw it and then you draw 3. Crazy. 1 Terraforming because seeing more Fountain is sometimes good. Yep. And last off, 2 Desires for drawing, and 3 Imperm because I wanted to have like going second stuff, but like I never drew this going second. It was sometimes useful as like a second Freezing Curse, or well Freezing Curse is an Imperm, but like people don't expect you to have 2 negates for some reason. So Imperm was like really good when you said it. But it never, in the long run, I don't think it did a whole lot, TBH. Next up, the extra deck. 3 Donner. Yeah, I'm not a furry, but in theory, it's the same thing with Kashira. It clears it. It's a Link 2 that clears itself. It never came up.
That's pretty useful, I guess.
Yep. Jerry, it's pretty good. The adding back the field spell from Grave doesn't really come up a lot because the main removal is just Heartbeat, and that shuffles back when it comes to Tears. Going to the Grave and popping, in theory, is really good, but I ran Soul Drain, so that never came up either. But yeah. And also, another thing I tried to do was I tried to make this big dog work. I don't know what the point of this card is. Like, whenever you have Runicks in your grave, you always just shuffle them back with like Fountain anyways, so you never really get the add back off of them. And the add back is when it activates in grave and banished as well. So on the Soul Drain, doesn't work. And every time I would try to trigger the Mill 2, the Banish 2, it would immediately get half missed. Like, I don't know. Don't play this card. I mean, you should play it, I guess. It's a Runick name, but it's trash. 3 Hugin. Yeah, this card is nuts. You know what it is. They activate Twin Twisters, chain to summon, protect on resolution. It works on the Majesty's Fiend because it's a replacement effect. It's a protection thingy. Wow. 3 Munin. This card is good for getting life points. Oh, and sometimes I guess the target negation comes up.
Did you win any games from just the life points alone?
Yeah, a couple times I think, but not really from Munin by itself. I think there was a really tight game against Sprite in which I was down a ton of life points because Messenger doesn't do shit against like small dudes, and I was basically trying to stall them out for using we're trying to get a balance to gain life points with Munin and then burn them with a lava golem. So that's pretty tight. But yeah. Yep. Next up, side. 3 Ghost Sister. I just think she's neat.
Like dogs.
I like sisters. 3 Lava Golem. 3 Sphere, just going second stuff. Usually your siding patterns are you take out Majesties, in theory. I don't know, I feel like every time I try to side something out, it never felt good. Except for Tikaboo. Which is obviously, yeah, it beat Flu. Your deck loses the Flu anyway, so... thankfully I didn't play any, which is probably why I actually made top 32. But like this is good against Sword Soul, which unexpectedly there was a lot of. It's like decent against Sprite, I guess. In theory, it would be good against Flu. Never played it. This deck would still lose though, 100%. 3 DD Grounds. I was told to side this because it would be good against Evenly.
Hello everyone in the hall. We've scraped together 2 more maps. So those of you who are disappointed, crying or whatever, and would love to...
And you can just chain it to stuff.
So we have room for
It's good.
2 more
yeah, shout out to Andy for basically making this deck. Like,
This feels like an Andy deck.
I was just gonna play Brave like the night before. So basically the story behind this deck is I was gonna play a Telephone FTK, which went like 12-0 when testing, I was going nuts. And then they banned Curious, so then I made this like 30 minutes before the event. Yeah, and then I just got Andy to choose the floodgates and stuff. You know, shout out to him, yeah. And shout out to my boy Gavin, represent.